Corn is the single most productive crop on the planet.
Nothing, I mean, nothing grows as well as corn. You can't get the biomass, the yield of any other grain or vegetable product compared with corn.
This ordinary seeming plant can be turned into everything from plastics to gasoline.
It's a brilliant plant in its adaptability.
It's used so profusely in so many products in so many ways. I'm not sure we could live any longer if we lost corn.
And corn is us. Up to 70% of the carbon in our bodies comes from this single incredible plant. But the kind of corn that makes up most of the U.S. harvest has a bizarre secret. One that will shock you. "99% of the U.S. corn crop is a type called dent corn, named for the little dent in each kernel. So why is this one type so dominant? Because no other food crop on Earth produces so much so fast.
We're now up to close to 200 bushels of corn per acre. It's an amazing amount of food. 5 tons of food from 1 acre of land. It's an incredible achievement.
It's true. But even though it's the biggest crop in the country, and maybe the world, raw dent corn is pretty much impossible for humans to eat.
They're growing inedible crops in a certain sense. I mean, they've got to be processed first.
That's because the outer shell is too hard for our bodies to digest. In fact, to make dent corn edible, it either has to be ground into flour or soaked in a highly corrosive alkaline substance called lye, the same chemical used to tan leather. But corn still makes up a huge percentage of all the calories we consume. Dent corn finds its way into everything from chips to ice cream to toothpaste.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for corn. Corn is a lifeline.
To keep up with the world's demand for corn, American farmers grew a staggering 93.6 million acres last year. That's more than enough cornfields to cover every square inch of Iowa and Illinois combined. And every kernel from every ear of every stalk is loaded with corn's secret ingredient, a complex, energy-packed molecule called starch. Corn is made up of 3 key components: the germ, pericarp, and endosperm.
One part contains the living genetic material of the plants, where the DNA is, and that's what allows it to grow. Then around that is really a bunch of energy, which we would call starch.
It's actually a solar power cell that turns the energy from the sun and takes in CO2 and turns it all into food or chemical energy.
It really is just this packet of carbohydrate.
Pound for pound, carbohydrates contain more energy than dynamite. Extracting that energy is the trick. Animal cells like ours do it by transforming the starch into a sugar called glucose, the main fuel source for every cell in our bodies.
Glucose is sort of the building block of all life.
But corn hasn't always provided us such an amazing source of energy. It's had to evolve.